Oh. That's Hari Vilas Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Just give me one. You want to Hare Vilas. Hare Krishna. We got delayed. You were first told that there's a madman running around with a gun, so all the roads have been blocked. But you don't go today. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamnathira Banachari Jamnatira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamnathira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari. Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamnathira Vanachari. Jamnathira Vanachari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Radha Madhava Radha, Madhava Radha. Jai Radha, Madhava Radha, Madhava Radha. Oh, Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Jai Om Ishwar Jivangeshwara, Abhijana Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada Maharaj ki. Shri Radha, Shri Nirmada ki, Jagannath Subhadra Bhasan ki, Sitaram Lakshmana ki, Iskcon, Shri Advaita ki. All glory to the Guru, all glory to the Guru, all glory to Shri Guru. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me in the back? My voice is a little punctured. I've been on a long tour. I've almost lost my voice. So, can you hear me in the back? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the maximum volume of your... Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurmidanyena Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Manovisam Savidamenam Swayam Rupaka. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here at a wonderful center in Seattle. I heard you all had a very successful Ananda Mela recently. Is that right, Harivilas? 20,000 people participated. So, you weren't able to travel much because of the COVID. Even now we have to be careful. So today is the disappearance day of a great saint whose name is, fill in the blanks. His name is Rupa Goswami. So I thought we could discuss a little bit about him. So Rupa Goswami, along with the others, are the 6 Goswamis. And Rupa Goswami, from his very childhood, was totally absorbed in devotional activity. Rupa Goswami appeared in a Brahmin's family. He is considered to be an incarnation of Rupa Manjari. He was an incarnation. And he had 3 brothers, Anupam, Sanatan, and Anupam and Sanatan. Rupa Goswami and his brothers, from a young age, were very absorbed in studying the scriptures. At a young age, they virtually became the advisors to all the entire population. And they were hailed from Karnataka. They were educated in it. They lived in Bengal. At that time, India was under Hamdan rule. And Imam Hussain Shah, with some manipulation, he became the king. But he was diplomatically very smart. He said, "Let me see who was very popular with the people." And everyone said, "These 2 brothers, these 3 brothers are very respected." And everyone, nobody will defy them. So the king approached these brothers and said, "I want you to run my administration." He was a Mahomedan king, but he had intelligence. He knew that the population, the Muslim population at that time, was barely 0.2%. So he forcibly persuaded them to run his administration. So Rupa and Sanatan, from a young age, they were only into the sports, social activities, were now forced into serving the Mohammedan emperor. They did that in their mind. They were always thinking, when will we be able to go and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So they were very well versed in the scriptures, and they were virtually respected by everyone. And they were holding very key positions. 500 years ago, the richest country in the world was not America, was it? There was no America at that time. The richest country in the world was India. And the Bengal part of India was considered to be the richest. So they became virtually the ministers. The king had full faith in them. He entrusted the entire responsibility to them. So Rupa and his brother were forced to surrender. But their heart was into something else. Ramakeli was the capital of this kingdom of Manohar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially came to Ramakeli so that he could meet these two brothers. And Rupa Goswami said, "Please bless me so that I can give up this government service and join you." The Lord felt that this was not the best time to join. So the Lord said, and gave an example. And Prabhupada uses that example in the Bhagavad Gita introduction. Example was a married woman. She has a lover. She is very conscientious. But in her mind she is thinking, when will I have the opportunity to go and meet my lover? So he said, do your job, but mentally go on thinking how to serve Krishna. So Rupa Goswami forcibly went back to his job. But he couldn't stay much longer. His heart was somewhere else. Finally he resigned. And when he resigned, he had so much wealth. The whole boat was full of gold coins. Full boat. These days we have the paper currency. And the paper currency gets thinner and thinner every day. But at that time in the period, they had gold coins. And these coins, a whole boat full of gold coins. And he distributed his wealth in a very exemplary manner. He gave 50% of his wealth to whom? The Brahmanas. And these were genuine Brahmanas. When you become a Brahman by quality, Chaturvarnamaya system. My voice is cracking. Krishna says in Gita, one is ascertained to be Brahmana Kshatriya based on his qualification. So if you don't have the qualification, that's because you've taken birth in a Brahminical family. Doesn't mean you become a Brahmin. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great acharya, was one of the first acharyas who publicly spoke against that. And his son Bhakti Siddhantaji was so vocal on stressing that Brahman is recognized by his qualities, not by birth. At one time, the local Brahmanas conspired to kill him also. So, one becomes a Brahmin on the basis of qualification and not birth. So, he gave 50% of his wealth to the Brahmanas. 25% of his wealth he kept for use by his relatives. And 25% he kept for future emergency. He knew that it may be needed. Sri Rupa Goswami ultimately resigned, and then he came and joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag. Sanatana Goswami was Rupa Goswami's younger brother. And we in our Vaishnava circles are known as Rupanugas. Rupanuga means one who follows in the teachings of Rupa Goswami. So, Sanatana Goswami also did not have his heart in serving the king. Especially, the king was getting ready to conquer the king of Orissa. Orissa had a Hindu king at that time. And this was very much undesired by Sanatana. Sanatana Goswami sent a message to the king. I'm not feeling well. and therefore I can't come to work. So 1 month passed by, Sanatana still did not show up. Probably these days become a common practice, work from home. Maybe Sanatana Goswami was trying to introduce that practice of work from home. Anyway, for a month he didn't go to office. And then the king was very suspicious. What's happened to Sanatana? So the king, personally, with a Vaidya and a few important ministers, came to Sanatana's residence. And when he came, he saw big stack of Srimad Bhagavatams, 30 brahmanas, all fully engaged in studying the Srimad Bhagavatam. These days, if somebody wants to enter your house, you can see who it is. And if you don't want him to come, you just don't respond. But apparently these facilities were not there at that time. So the king just walked in. And when the king walked in, Sanatana Goswami bowed down to him and gave him full respect because he was a king. So the king saw that Sanatana is completely healthy, just engaged in studying the Bhagavatam. So the king said, your brother has proved to be very irresponsible, and you're also following in his footsteps. Well, that's what the materialists think. If we don't see eye to eye with them, how to pursue material life, they think you're wasting your time. So the king finally ordered Sanatana to be arrested. There was no justice system at that time. The king could do anything. So he was imprisoned. So Sanatana was, at that time, he received a letter from his brother, in which the brother said, I had left behind 25,000 gold coins that you can use for emergency purposes. Sanatana was a visionary, Rupa. He knew that this king could do anything. So, Sanatana was imprisoned. And he wanted to get out. So he told the jailer, please release me. I want to go to Mecca. And Sanatana, and the jailer said, you're a very important VIP man. How can I let you go? If I let you go, the king won't leave me alive. So, anyway, they went on negotiating different terms. Finally, it was settled for 10,000 gold coins. And then, Sanatana was really. So Rupa Goswami and his brother, they wrote many books on the science of devotional service. So, Rupa Goswami was commissioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, gave Rupa and Sanatana 5 important instructions. He lectured to Rupa Goswami for 10 days at Prayag. You know where Prayag is? At Prayag. So Rupa Goswami, George Chaitanya, gave him the following instruction. Go to Vrindavan and establish temples of the Lord. At one time Vrindavan had nearly 5,000 temples. But then when the Mohammedan rulers came to power, they either destroyed the temples, smashed the deities, and the temples were virtually completely broken. And so the Lord wanted these temples to be rehabilitated. So he said, go and establish temples. Many of the temples that were there at that time, including Radha Govinda, the deities have moved to locations where they had Jaipur. Jaipur is also known as Gupta Vrindavan, the hidden Vrindavan, because many of the prominent deities from Vrindavan were brought there. Most of the temples had been destroyed. So Lord Chaitanya said, go to Vrindavan and establish places of worship. And then identify places where the Lord has performed His divine pastimes. Now when you go to Vrindavan, Braj, someone, the Panda tells you, this is where this pastime took place, this is where this pastime took place. They're able to do this because of the groundwork that was done by the Goswamis of Vrindavan under Lord Chaitanya's instruction. So to identify places where the Lord has performed His pastime, then he said, write books on devotional service. The literature left behind by the Goswamis of Vrindavan is most vast and it has no parallel. So they were advised to write books on the science of devotional service and to build temples. So Rupa Sanatan went to Vrindavan with that interest, with those instructions. In Prayag, Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days on the science of devotional service. And the literature that we have is based on the instructions of Bhakti Yoga, which were given by Lord Chaitanya. So, Rupa Goswami was instructed by Lord Chaitanya. What are the main elements, he said? The key elements of Lord Chaitanya's instruction. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavano Ji, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai. He quotes this very famous verse after traveling through many millions of births and deaths. The fortunate soul receives the seed of what? Bhakti, devotional service. It's not that in every birth you get the opportunity to engage in devotional service. After going through so many births in this, and Prabhupada has also said that unless you have exceedingly pious karma, you can't come to devotional service. Devotional service is not that everybody will embrace. You have to have very good karma. So, Chaitanya Maharaj explained that after going through many, many births in that, the fortunate soul receives the seed of bhakti. That means he receives knowledge that bhakti yoga is a solution, bhakti yoga is the goal of life. The Bhagavad Gita concludes, Bhakti Mama Vijananti. I can only be known by Father devotional service. And Vyasadeva, after having compiled the vast Vedic literature, was still feeling despondent. And when he approached the Guru, he said, well, you haven't fully, exclusively glorified the process of pure devotion. So Chaitanya Prabhu gave this explanation. And Lord said, there are entities that can move and cannot move. And after many, many births and deaths, what did he see? Bhakti Lata Bij. Manda Brahmate Guna Guna Bhagavanaji, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. After going through many, many births and deaths, he is the fortunate soul who receives the seed of bhakti. The seed of bhakti essentially means you receive knowledge that bhakti yoga is the solution. The bhakti yoga is the alternative. And how do you get this knowledge? What is the source? How do you get this knowledge? How? Huh? By spiritual association, sadhu sangha. And this spiritual association is obtained through two mediums. One is when you associate with a devotee bhagat. We have devotee association. And the other is when someone gives you a book. Why do you think our acharyas emphasize book distribution is because these books, they contain the Lord's instructions, they contain the instructions of the Lord's devotees. These books have knowledge that can change your life. Every day, every few days, I meet somebody, and when I ask him, how did you become a devotee? He said, somebody gave me a book. I found a book. So Bhakti Lata Bij, this knowledge of Bhakti Lata Bij is the solution to get out of many, many births. Now, having obtained the knowledge, what do? We just relax. And what do we do? Huh? We want the devotional beach to grow. We have knowledge. You have knowledge that medicine can cure your disease. But if we don't take the medicine, then what use is that knowledge? Is that right? So similarly, we may have the knowledge. The Bhakti Yoga is the process. Bhakti Yoga is the alternative. But I'm not taking advantage of that. So is that going to be of any value? No. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, the Bhakti Lata Bij must be watered. Bhakti Lata Bij must be watered. And if you water it, then the seed will go. Usually we see big shortage of water. Is that right? They say that in future wars will be fought only for water. The world is going to run so short. And recently we read that in France, in over 100 districts, there's not a drop of water. Previously you would see this only in India. Now you can see this even in the so-called developed countries. Even in America and California, many parts there's shortage of water. So you water the seed. How? By Shravanam Kirtanam. Shravanam Kirtanam, as you know, is the foundation of spiritual life. If your Shravanam Kirtanam is regular, attentive, serious, then your Bhakti Lata Bij will grow. And the seed of devotional service will grow. It's just like if you have a garden in your house, backyard, the seed will grow only if you water the seed. If you don't water, it won't grow. So we do that by chanting. Then the Lord said, you should keep yourself surrounded by devotees. He gave the example of a fence. Just like you have a property, but then you build fencing all around. Why do you build that fencing? So undesirable elements may not come in. Like in most of Iskcon temple, we have fences all around. So the undesirable elements may not come in. So that represents you stay in devotee association. If you stay in devotee association, there are several plus advantages. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shasaka. Lava Mata Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhikaya. Even if you get spiritual association for 1/40 of 1 second, your life can become successful. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, you plant the seed and you start watering the seed. But then, you must also be careful that unwanted elements don't come in. Just like if you have a big house, you build a fencing around it, but you don't want undesirable elements to come in. So that keep yourself in devotee association. Narada Muni explains in the 4th canto that that we can possibly have 3 levels of association. How many? 3. What are they? One is association with those who are more advanced. 2 is association with those who are equally advanced. 3rd is association with those who are what? What? Less advanced. How do you react to these circumstances? If you have the opportunity to associate with somebody more advanced, we should become joyful. And the Bhagavatam says, just like peacocks, when they see clouds in the rainy season for the first time, they dance in ecstasy. So Bhagavatam says, if we have the opportunity to associate with somebody more advanced, we become joyful. The Gopal Maharaj underwent great austerities. He had a material vision, he had a goal in mind, he had a kingdom, very opulent kingdom. So the Lord was very pleased. The Lord told Dhruva, Dhruva, for my sake, you underwent so much difficulty. For my sake, ask me for any benediction that you may desire. Is anything impossible for the Lord? No. What did Dhruva say? My dear Lord, if you want to give me a benediction, please give me the benediction that I may be able to associate with advanced devotees. But if I associate with them, I will receive knowledge that will help me to cross over the cycle of birth and death. So, when you have the opportunity to associate with somebody more advanced, you should be enjoyable. What do you do when you meet somebody of equal strength? Then what do? Make friendship. Friendship in spiritual life means we work together to push the movement of the Lord. That's what it means. We work together to push the movement of the Lord. Friendship in material life means I help you, you help me on the path of sense enjoyment. And when that cannot be realized, then you go for a divorce or separation. Something like that, isn't it? What friendship in spiritual life means, you mutually help each other. In the Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto, you read about the Lord instructing the Prachetas. And the Lord said, I'm very pleased with all you brothers, because all you brothers have only one occupation. And what is that? Devotional service. All you brothers have only one. I'm very pleased. So the Lord is very pleased when He sees His devotees working together to spread the Lord's mission. And so when you meet somebody equally advanced, you make friendship. And when you meet somebody less advanced, what do? Show compassion. What does compassion mean? In material life, compassion means you give someone, even if someone's an alcoholic, and you give him some money to buy more, they think this is compassion. But in spiritual life, compassion means giving people knowledge by which they can become free from the cycle of birth. So association is very important. So you should keep yourself in devotee association. You know, sometimes when we are spiritually weak, we tend to fault find in everything that happens. We fault find the devotees, we fault find the temples, and we look for excuses. The material mind looks for excuses to justify what you're doing. We should avoid that. In the Upadeshamrita, Gopal Goswami talks about 6 types of rasas. Monks? What are they? Reveal your mind. To whom? Reveal your mind to those that are more advanced than you. People are hesitant in revealing their mind. They get scared. Or if I tell you my problems, then they all laugh at me. If I tell them my problems, they probably blackmail me. Sometimes devotees have this mentality. If somebody reveals his mind to you, more advanced, we should be fully confidential and sympathetic. So revealing your mind to those who are more advanced. Revealing the mind to those who are more advanced will only be beneficial if you're going to take advantage of the advice. You may go to the doctor and get medicine. If you don't take the medicine, then there's no value. So reveal your mind and then take instruction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, The seed of devotional service will grow based on your chanting. But to be on the safe side, also build a strong fencing so that unwanted elements don't come in. Then Lord Chaitanya cautioned us. But be careful, because the Bhakti Lata beach, if a mad elephant comes and walks on that beach, then what will happen? That beautiful garden will be destroyed. Therefore, it is advised, beware, don't step on these plants. So the beautiful garden, devotional service is very beautiful. Gopal Goswami says there are 3 types of happiness you can experience. One is material happiness. The other is happiness obtained by spiritual activities. The third is by impersonal realization. With regards to spiritual happiness obtained by spiritual activities, Rupa Goswami says that if you get any happiness, like getting bhakti yoga, that is real happiness. This happiness will always go on increasing. And when you get happiness through material means, as most of the population is doing it, then what happens? Then that happiness can end at any moment. We all have experience. We may have the best security, we may have the best weaponry, but it can end at any time. And the happiness obtained by impersonal realization, even if it is multiplied a trillion-fold, so it will only be a small fraction. So Rupa Goswami concludes, real happiness is happiness obtained by performing spiritual activity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the beautiful garden of devotional service can be protected if we don't commit a Vaishnava aparadha. We may compare this to a management experience. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, stay in devotee association. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Rupa Goswami detailed instructions. Then he explained to him the nature of the soul. The Bhagavad Gita discusses in the 2nd chapter the nature of the soul. Thakur Bhaktivinoda has said, this 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the most important of all, of the entire Gita. So, in the 2nd chapter, what do you do? Position of the soul. Jayate Vriyate Kaja. For the soul there is there birth in that? Yes or no? No birth, no that. Actually, even in the Bible it is said, what shall I do with the gain of the whole world and suffer the loss of eternal soul? So this clearly states, soul is eternal. You may gain the wealth of the whole world. There's so many millionaires. You may become one, but it's not going to give you real happiness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he explained, what is the measurement of the soul? 1/10,000 the tip of the hair, not the length of the hair. If it was the length of the hair, then the lady would have bigger souls than the man. And the yogis, some yogis who grow their hair, they would have very long hair. 1/10,000 tip of the hair. So the Lord Chaitanya gave these instructions and told Rupa to go to Vrindavan, team up with Sanatana Goswami and write books on the science of devotion. But the basic foundation knowledge was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami, based on what he was educated in Prayag, he gave us very wonderful books. Narottam Thakur says, Rupa Raghunapate Vyakoti Kavemahiravo Sayugalapiriti. When will that auspicious day come? And I will be able to read the literature that behind Goswami. The nectar of devotion. I was at Prabhupada in Los Angeles in December 1974. And Prabhupada had just received the Nectar Devotion copy from Japan. Those days the books were printed by Lion Upon. The whole LA room was packed. So Prabhupada took this Nectar Devotion book, showed it to all the devotees and said, "This is the law book of the Krishna conscious movement. And everyone must read it." So Prabhupada translated two of Rupa Goswami's books, Updeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Rupa Goswami gave us many literatures. He wrote many dramas based on the scriptural evidence, and he wrote many books. Once there was a scholar in Vrindavan. He had defeated everybody, and when he would defeat everyone, he would take a written note. I have been defeated by this scholar. So after defeating everyone, he came to Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was also a very respected saint. And he had approached Rupa Goswami. He should take with a Vijay Patra, victory pledge, victory certificate. He got one from Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami didn't want to. He made such a visit. So Rupa Goswami, when he found out that Jiva Goswami had a debate, he was very upset. He felt that this man was just after material recognition, and we should not be interested. Rupa Goswami also taught us Krishna Bhakti Niskama Sadaiva Shanta. Bhukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Shanta. In the Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya said, Krishna Bhakti Niskama Ataiva. Devotees of the Lord who are Niskama. Sakama and Niskama. Sakama means materially motivated. Iskcon means materially unmotivated. Our Krishna conscious movement is presenting the path of pure devotional service. Our mood should be serve as needed, serve as desired. That should be our mood of service. So, Chaitanya says, Krishna Bhakta who are Niskama, they're always peaceful because they're single-pointed. We want to serve the Lord with our body, mind, and senses. And in contrast, those are motivated, mukti siddhi kame, they're always unpeaceful. Rupa Goswami got this answer and knowledge. He gives him in a book. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatana both went to live in Vrindavan. At one time they were living in a palace. At one time they had so much gold coins, the whole boat was full. So they went to live in Vrindavan. And Vrindavan, how were they living? Doing madhukari, going from house to house and taking minimum. In madhukari, you only eat to store in your stomach. You only eat as much the stomach can keep. So they're always peaceful. So if you're unmotivated as service, then you'll be peaceful. Rupa and Sanatana were living in Vrindavan. He used to do madhukari every day. So one day, Sanatana had returned from his pilgrimage, and he saw that Rupa Goswami had prepared sweet rice. Usually the normal diet was dry chapatis and salt. That's what they used to live. Once Sanatana Goswami was told by the Lord, said, Sanatana, I'm tired of eating a dry chapatis. Give me something better. Sanatana said, my Lord, this is all I can manage. This is all what I take. So, Rupa Goswami wanted to please his brother. So, he was meditating. How can I serve very opulent sweet rice to my brother. That was his meditation. And he was meditating because now, at one time they were millionaires, but now they were living on a different tree every night. Do any of you sleep on a different tree? And when you go to Vrindavan, you can't do it. Because there are no trees left in Vrindavan now. Vrindavan has become a concrete jungle. So when you want to lay sleep underneath a different tree, you have to struggle. But in those days, there was less concrete and more trees. So they could sleep underneath a different tree every night. So Rupa Goswami was meditating. How can I serve something delicious? So a beautiful young girl came. She brought with her sweet rice, sugar, milk, and all the ingredients you need to make sweet rice. So Radhan, when he came home, he said, "Where did you get the sweet rice from? It has very special flavor. We usually just serve dry chapati. This is so awkward. Where did you get it from?" And Rupa Goswami said, "I had a strong desire to feed you sweet rice. And as I was meditating, I didn't have the means. A beautiful young girl came. She brought all the ingredients. She said, 'I'll prepare your sweet rice, and I'll come back soon.' And she never came back. And then Sanatana said, 'That beautiful girl was none else but Radharani.' And he chastised his brother for having taken service from Radharani. The nature of a devotee is, when you serve the Lord, in the story of Madhava and Puri, you see that the Lord had tricked him. The Lord Madhava Puri, when he realized that the milk given to him was by the Lord himself, he felt very bad. I took service from the Lord. So a higher level of service, he served the Lord, not expecting anything in return. So Rupa Goswami, he used to sleep hardly 1 hour a day. He used to stay awake almost 24 hours. Even Raghunath Goswami, he used to chant for 80 hours a day. So today is the disappearance day of the great sage Rupa Goswami. Appearance is disappearance. In Sanskrit they call it Avirbhav, Tirabhav. Avirbhav means the day a great sage appears. And Tirabhav means a day the great sage departs. So today is the day the Lord Rupa Goswami departed. And we celebrate both because a pure devotee, if he departs also, he departs with the purpose of carrying out the orders of the Lord in some other part of his creation. So we celebrate both the Avirbhav and Tirabhav. And today is the disappearance of Rupa Goswami. So there's a lot to say on Rupa Goswami. There are a number of books that have been written on him. And as I said earlier, we in our Krishna conscious movement are also called Rupanugas, because we strictly follow the teachings of Rupa Goswami. And Prabhupada was so genuine, he gave us Rupa Goswami's instruction as it is, without any distortion. So on this auspicious day, we can, falling at the feet of Rupa Goswami, pray to him. He may bless us with what? What do we want to be blessed with? Money buying new cars. We will be blessed with the determination to render pure devotional service. Oh, that's a good. And that's Niskama Bhava, not Sakam. Sakam Bhava we had many in person. But now more should be Niskama Bhava. And if that's our desire, the Lord will reciprocate. Prabhupada used to say, you take one step towards Krishna, he takes 10 steps towards you. So on this auspicious day, offer respect to Rupa Goswami. And we also know that Rupa Goswami ki Gopal Krishna. Well, there's a lot to say about Rupa Goswami. What we spoke is only a small fraction. Okay. Any questions or comments? I will ask any comments. Any comments? No questions? Yeah.
So, Guru Maharaj, why Prabhupada made the statement about the nectar of devotion written by Rupa Goswami as the law book means, what is the criticality of knowing from this book?
In the nectar of devotion, you see rules and regulations. Every step is explained. Do this, do that. The rules and regulations. And Rupa Goswami himself said, all these instructions are meant to bring us to the point that we may always remember Krishna and never forget. That's the ultimate goal. So all these rules and regulations, Rupa Goswami talks about sadhana bhakti, leading to Raghunaga bhakti. That's rules and regulations. We don't like sadhana bhakti. We don't like getting up in the morning for Mangala Arati. We don't like coming to the morning program. But if we do come, then there's a certain benefit. So the nectar devotion is full of rules and regulations. Sometimes people say, you in Iskcon have too many laws. See, our Guru is so liberal. He's given us a free hand. So yes, we have. Even if somebody wants to get initiated, he has to go through so many examples. Because Papa wanted us to study the philosophy first. Any more? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanva Pranam. Maharaj, when we say that for people who are less advanced than us, we should have compassion, it's tough when people in office or social circle, they repeatedly offend or make mistakes, and to have compassion for them. How can we maintain compassion when they are offending or when they are not following the path?
You mean when you come in contact with materialists, they're not, they make fun of you or criticize?
Yes, Maharaj.
The question is, how should you react? My advice is, if the materialists are making fun of you, laughing at you, you just tolerate it. You don't have to do tit for tat. You know what is tit for tat? In Hindi they say naila vedela. In Russian they say zoom. So we don't have to do tooth for tooth. We just tolerate it. Because man is in ignorance, so he makes fun with each other, Hare Krishna. But if we utter Hare Krishna even jokingly, you make advancement. The Hare Krishna is so powerful. Then if somebody from Sakashic angle says, you make benefit. Or Chitta advise us to be more tolerant. Okay, any more?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanavad Pranams. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says one thing that we have to give is the determination to serve others, to perform the pure devotional service. And you said, we should pray today to Rupa Goswami so that we can get the determination. Is it something that we get because of the association, we develop the determination, or is it something that we...
Rupa Goswami explains, And the first step must be Shraddha, desire. I want to pursue spiritual life. And then, if you have a genuine desire, Krishna guides you to appropriate association. And if you stay that association, then you get the knowledge to do bhajana kriya. If you keep doing bhajana kriya, then you come to the stage of nishtha. Nishtha means determination. So all that is attainable if you follow the process. And it's a proven process. You can see yourself. If you chant nicely, keep good sadhana, your enthusiasm is high. And if you become relaxed, your enthusiasm goes down. Isn't it? Everything that we read in the books can be tested. And Rupa Goswami emphasizes sadhana bhakti to be very important. Okay. Any more? Yeah.
I missed the point. You told that our mood should be serve as needed, and the second thing you told, serve as needed.
I know what it is. A mood should be just like in the army. You get drafted before you, and you're sent to different places. A mood should be to serve as needed. Not that if there's some service to be done, you start arguing, oh, I can't do this service. It's below my dignity. I can't do this service. It's too difficult. When the Puri was ordered to get chandan for the Lord, he undertook this huge route to get chandan. I'm sure if the Lord, if any of us get directed, go to Jagannath Puri and bring sandalwood, we would say, give us a plate and take it out. Okay, yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. If somebody tells that Krishna is in my heart, I am always thinking of him, I really love him, but they don't want to come to our process of sadhana bhakti, how should we preach them?
Well, you should know in your mind, man is a bluffer, I'm a bluffer. Try your best to convince him. Once we were in Delhi, and a lady walked in and Prabhupada said, please chant, do you chant? She said, yes, Swamiji, I chant 24 hours. So Prabhupada said, how do you chant? She said, I'm mentally always chanting. And Prabhupada said, when you're hungry, you eat mentally or physically? So you tell that man who's always meditating on his mind that when you're hungry, do you eat or? Some people think they're thinking of Krishna all the time. They don't want any regulations. Okay, so anything else? So, should I give a morning class? I will. If I give a morning class tomorrow, Bhagavatam, how many people will come? Everyone tells me no, nobody will come. So, how many will come? So how these boys are from? So I should do a class.
You're more than welcome to give class, and many people will come because they want to hear pure Krishna Bhakti from you.
What time?
Classes, well, here we give class 6:30 in the morning. If you want to come later, you can, but
I will do 8 o'clock.
that's fine, okay.
8 to 9. And in the evening,
Evening is 7:30.
I can't come at 6:30. Can come at 8 o'clock. How many of you could come at 8 o'clock if I come for class? Huh? 8 o'clock. We'll come at 8. Okay, we'll come at 8 o'clock for the class. And evening, what time are you at? I'll do evening and morning. Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Hare Krishna.
Yes, please. Yes, we gave all that to Gopal.
So, okay?
Okay.